Hello fiction fiends, my name's Sonia and I write, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Let's cut the garbage. Let's cut to the chase, because I have a bone to pick with you, specifically you. Okay, I'm upset and I'm gonna tell you why. Last we spoke, I was giving you my pre-reading thoughts on Heir of Fire. So fun fact, I haven't touched the Throne of Glass series since 2024, and just recently I decided I was going to get back into it. Why not discuss some of the thoughts I was having before diving right in? Right. Okay, important tidbit of information about the Throne of Glass series, about my personal reading of the Throne of Glass series, is the fact that this book, which depending on your reading order could be the second or the third or sometimes even the fourth book, this book was the third in my reading order. So Crown of Midnight I read third and I suffered. Okay, there was nothing that I could remember that I struggled with or had a particularly hard time with while reading this bad boy right here. Not even that big, honestly. Let me check how many pages. Oh my gosh, it's like just around the 400 page mark. What is wrong with me? Anyway, I struggled to read this. It took me over 6 months of not only reading, like regular reading, but also listening to an audiobook and trying to read along, and just listening to the audiobook and falling asleep and forgetting everything that happened. But it took me very long to read this. And the reason why I'm so upset is because it took me under a week to read this. It took me under a week, and I have been putting this series off since 2024. Am I stupid? I loved Heir of Fire. I gave it a fat, thick, delicious 5 stars. Thank you very much. I actually don't even know what I rated Crown of Midnight. I actually don't think I rated it. I just think I finished it and went to sleep. But that's besides the point, because I enjoyed Heir of Fire so much, I decided that I was going to go back to the last video that I shared, which was my Heir of Fire pre-reading thoughts, and I was going to get my little notebook and take notes on all of the pre-reading thoughts that I had, so that I could discuss them with a post-reading mind. You see how I did that? Okay, so without further ado, this is my Heir of Fire pre-reading thoughts reviewed after having read Heir of Fire. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into it. So one thing that I wanted to talk to you about, which is actually 2 things because I just lied, is why I've decided after 2 years to jump back into the Throne of Glass series. And the first reason is actually because of another book. So everybody say hello to Alchemized. Not a little guy, okay? I'm exactly 51 pages into Alchemized, and if you know anything about Alchemized, you know that it's really sad and it's gonna be torture. Now, I know this was originally published as a fanfic, I believe called Manacled. I know it's a Hermione fanfic. Did I read the original fanfic? No. Did I ever finish reading Harry Potter? No. Was I still interested to pick up this book? Yes. Was that potentially a mistake? Yes. Why? Because every single spoiler-free review that I have seen of Alchemized is people ripping their hair out in distress because apparently this is really sad. And obviously, because I can't commit to this thick of sadness, I decided that I was going to pick up Throne of Glass again so that I could commit to even more sadness. Right. The second reason why I decided I was going to pick up Throne of Glass again was actually because of Heir of Fire. I really liked Assassin's Blade, really liked Throne of Glass, and then Crown of Midnight, I just thought it was slow. But then I was seeing comments of people saying that Crown of Midnight, Assassin's Blade, and Throne of Glass are all just building up to the actual start of the series, which is Heir of Fire. And obviously, because I was in the process of running away from this, I thought, you know what? If this is the real start of the series, maybe I can make some friends along the way. After reading this, have I made friends along the way? Yeah, but they're all suffering. So maybe it was a mistake. Maybe I should have just stuck with Alchemized. But we're here now, and I gave this bad boy a fat 5 stars. So let's get into my post-reading thoughts. Okay, so in my little notebook, I have written that my first pre-reading thought for Heir of Fire was, what the heck happened in Crown of Midnight? Well, fun fact, I still don't know. Okay, so while I was reading Heir of Fire, there were a lot of callbacks to the important plot points of Crown of Midnight. And they were coming out of the vault of my memory. I was figuring out what had happened. At no point did I need to use a summary. I wasn't lost. 2 years later, I'm still smart, okay? But if you sat me down at the kitchen table and if you said, Sonja, you need to write a full summary of what happened in this story, I would simply get up and leave, okay? I would leave because, quite frankly, I don't remember all of it. And I think part of that has to do with the fact that I was half asleep listening to the audiobook. My next pre-read thought was the characters that I cared about. There were only 3 that I was enjoying, and they weren't looking so great because Selena is always struggling. Sam has been struggled, rest in peace, and Fleetfoot is a dog. And I was wondering if any of my interest in the characters or the cast would change as I got into Heir of Fire, and the answer is yes. Not only was I finding Kael's point of view to be like actually interesting to read through, but oh my god, I was so interested in Dorian. I don't know what happened after Throne of Glass, but ever since him and Selena had their little like end, I just didn't care. I didn't care about what was happening with Dorian. I just wanted to see Selena kick booty. But in Heir of Fire, his perspective was so interesting to read about. I was never upset when there was a POV change. And honestly, I think that Kael and Dorian should just get together. Oh my god, the tension there. There was a healer who I believe her name was Sorsha. That's how I read it in my mind. Probably completely incorrect, but a lot of times thought she was very sweet. A lot of times I just wanted to tell her, girl, you're interrupting something. Get out of the way. Kael and Dorian are having a moment. Beyond those 2 characters, I also really, really loved the new friends we were making along the way. Like Rowan, the guy who's going to punch you in the face. Like Manon, the woman who's going to gut you and then eat you. And my favorite of all, Adion, I believe that's how you say his name, who I literally just imagined as Prince Charming from Shrek. Everybody was so interesting, and I think that's what I was missing from Crown of Midnight. I wasn't drawn to any of the characters. Now I'm committed, unlike Kael. Okay, so my third point and my fourth point are kind of ironic, so bear with me. My third pre-reading thought was a hope that we would finally escape the endless training arc. And my fourth pre-reading thought was a request to explore the map more. Not only was this over 550 pages of training again, we also didn't explore more of the map. We actually went off the map. so my fifth and final pre-reading thought had to do with the fact that I was seeing characters in fan art, but then not seeing them in the book. Like, hello, where are they? I can answer that. They're right here. Oh! I don't know what it is with Sarah J. Maas writing the craziest white-haired characters, but oh my gosh, let me just tell you, I love Rowan and I love Manon. Yes, he did punch her in the face. Yes, I do think she needed that. Yes, Manon does eat men. Yes, I want to see more of that. And I want to see more of the 13. And I want to see more of Abraxos. Thank you very much, period. On top of my pre-reading thoughts with a post-reading mind, I'm also going to be highlighting some of the scenes that I absolutely died for in Heir of Fire. Let's start off strong. Any of Manon's POVs. Now, in the reviews that I have been reading on Fable about Heir of Fire, I've seen some people saying that they didn't like Manon's POVs, that Manon's POVs were interrupting the flow of the training arc. Personally, loved them. Personally, needed them. I think that one of the reasons why I struggled to read Crown of Midnight so hardcore was the fact that it was constant training. And seeing like a witch coven learn to fly with Wyvern, super cool. Super want more of that. Thank you very much. Another section of Heir of Fire that made my English lit brain tingle a little bit was Rowan's reaction to Celaena's scars in comparison to Chaol's previous reaction to her scars in the Throne of Glass book. Oh my gosh. Chaol saying to Celaena previously, not in this book, in a previous book, him saying to her, "What did you do to deserve these?" Versus in this book, Rowan saying, "Who did this to you? Thank you. Have a good night." Thank you. Guys, that's all I'm gonna even say about that, okay? Another thing that stood out to me was the fact that Rowan had a mate, but for some reason, he and Celaena can talk really well to each other with just their facial expressions. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. And then another point that I really liked while reading this was the entire get up sequence. Celaena sees the younger version of herself telling her to get up. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So those were my pre-reading thoughts for Heir of Fire with a post-reading mind. And if you can already see, my little hippo is guarding the Queen of Shadows book, because guess what I'm reading next and immediately? Queen of Shadows. And yes, I do think I'm going to make a Queen of Shadows pre-reading thoughts video. Cheers to you all for listening to me ramble. Thank you for sticking it out and watching this video. It means so much to me. I hope to see you next time, and I hope to come back with news about my Queen of Shadows pre-reading thoughts. I'll talk to you later. Ciao for now, Fiction Fiends.